called my book Thank You India because I am so grateful to India. And in fact, I couldn't imagine what would have happened if I had not come to India. Probably I would have become an atheist like most Westerners who lose faith in Christianity. When I came to India 38 years ago, I by chance stumbled on a great treasure I found. And it started with a book by Swami Vivekananda, Jnana Yoga. And when I read this book, it was like he spoke from my own self. I could not have expressed it, what he said, but it made so much sense. And that's what I am so grateful for, because in India, there is this very profound knowledge about what life is meant for, what is the meaning of life, what is our real nature, what is the nature, what is the essence in everything. So I came to get to know all this. I became familiar with Indian tradition, with Sanatana Dharma. So I'm very grateful to this. And so the natural title for my book was Thank You India. Yes, I believe in rebirth, but actually it was more than a belief. It makes sense. Especially like we in Christianity, we have so much problem with a just God. How can God be so cruel and let some people be born in a hut and some in a palace and some with a deformity and some healthy and beautiful? You know? So for us it is very difficult to believe even in God, because how can he be so unfair apart from sending us to hell also? So only when I came to India, I came to know that there is a big research on rebirth in America, in Virginia University. I met a professor in Delhi University, Dr. N.K. Chatter, who was working together with Ian Stevenson, who was a big researcher on rebirth. And he talked to me about his cases, and it was so interesting. In fact, he had given me half an hour to meet him, and then we talked for 2 hours, because it was just there is no other explanation how these little children who remember something, who know something about a person who died before their birth. So he said the only plausible explanation is that this child remembers. So in this way it makes sense. And even do you know that Christianity in 552 AD forbade the belief in rebirth? It means before 500 AD, it was very common to believe in rebirth. But Christianity forbade it, and now it has spread, and Islam also claims there's only one life, and it makes things so complicated. And it definitely makes sense that we are not here for once and then eternal hell, eternal heaven. So it's not really a belief, but maybe I should say also in Indian philosophy, on the absolute level, of course, there is no rebirth. All is basically one Brahman. The essence in all is as the same. But on this manifest level, on this appearance level, there is naturally, we come and come so often and go. And yeah. Yes, I have a chapter on love in India in my book. The reason is, when I came to India, I was still quite young. I was in my late 20s. And naturally, one very important topic is love. No? And especially for us Westerners. So, and what we understand by love is naturally falling in love, the attraction between the sexes. So I felt this is a very desirable state. I mean, it makes life worthwhile. And now when I came to India, I learned, and by meeting Ananda Mama and by meeting so many gurus, that actually true love is between myself and me, if I can say like this. No? The essence in all is the same, and this true love is not really possible between individuals because there's always some egoistic motive involved. You want something for yourself. No? So I reflected a lot about it. Actually, I read about it. I was in Nepal at that time in a little mud hut on the Annapurna, and was all alone there. A very simple setup. And I was really reflecting because I felt if I want to be sincere, I cannot justify to fall in love with one person. And this was, of course, a very strange thought for a Westerner. But I feel I had to really try to develop love for the divine, for Atman, for Shiva. I would call it Shiva. So I requested, please let me love you. And then I asked another question, and this was very difficult, but I asked, please let me not fall in love again. So it was a little painful, and it didn't work, of course, straight away, but the thought behind it, I feel it's this love business in the West, it is very immature, because ultimately it doesn't fulfill. We have to find our true love or our support from inside, and then we can also love other people, and then we are not bound by love, but free. So that's why I'm grateful to India for this knowledge also. I came to Ayodhya in 1986. It was very quiet at that time. I did not know anything about Ayodhya. Of course, it was the birthplace of Ram, and I remember visiting the palace of Kaikeyi, and the roofs were very low, and the villagers who came, I really felt the devotion for Ram there. Only later I realized that suddenly Ayodhya flared up. It was big in the news because the mosque. No, I should tell also, in 86 I went to a place near the mosque, and it was just a little plastic sheet, and it was supposed to be Ram Lala. As I said, I knew very little. I knew nothing about history. And then 6 years later, this mosque demolition came, and it was all over the news, but I did not fully understand it because, first of all, so many temples were destroyed, and even in Ayodhya it is now very clear, and it was clear actually from the beginning that there was a temple beneath the mosque. So I remember suggesting to some Hindu friends who were very secular, so-called seculars, I was telling them, actually I would feel it would be so natural for Muslims to give this place to Hindus, because for Hindus it is very important, and for Muslims it doesn't have any importance. And it was very strange because the reaction of my friends was very strange. I mean, they were, no, you can't say this, and it is impossible, and I realized what I had said. I felt it made sense, but it was politically very incorrect. I felt really one must never criticize what minorities want, or one has to support them. Now, this great outcry which came, I felt it was not really honest. It was because, for example, in Poland, when the Russian conquered in the beginning of the 20th century, they changed the Catholic Church. Poland was Catholic and Russia was Orthodox. They changed the Catholic churches into Orthodox churches. And when the Polish finally threw out the Russians again, some 20, 30 years later, I think even they demolished one of the basilicas, the Orthodox, and built again a Catholic church. It is their pride also, no? Because the Russians were not really belonging to Poland, and it was a symbol of their dominance. And in the same way, it is in Ayodhya also. No? So I feel this outcry was not justified. mean, it is so obvious that English medium education is a blunder. I mean, I couldn't imagine what would have happened to me if my parents had sent me to an English medium school when I was 6 years old, and at home nobody speaks in English. So basically, this English medium is just helpful for a very small group in India who are fluent in English or almost fluent, and who maybe they don't want to give up their privilege also. And of course, the whole system is. This morning I was talking with a taxi driver, and he said, we have to put our children to English medium because jobs they need English. No? So if government changes that the requirement for English, like in the judiciary, everywhere you need English in India, then of course we will send our children to Hindi medium or local language medium schools. No? So this English medium is definitely hampering. There was a test, PISA test, which means Program of International Student Assessment. And can you believe Indians are so bright, so intelligent, more intelligent than Westerners, no doubt. And you know what place they had finally in these 74 countries between Haryana and Himachal Pradesh, I think, and Tamil Nadu took place. 74 countries. Number 74 was Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan one, I think Kyrgyzstan, and 23 and 22 was India, Tamil Nadu and Himachal Pradesh. And Singapore, all the Asian countries were in the between 1 and 10. I mean, they were so much better. And this is because of English medium, because only about 10% understand what they learn. The rest, it's a waste of education. So this English medium is a big blunder, because I feel sometimes Indians don't understand the difference between learning English. I don't mean don't learn English. Of course, learn English, like we also learn English in Europe, but there's no need to be perfect. To be able to read complicated questions in science and the answers, you cannot be so quick like when it's not your natural language. So this is a big and also it makes the mindset, it removes people from their tradition. I met a girl recently in the train. She was in Hindi medium, and she says her happiest time in life was her primary school and her schooling, because they had so much fun. And it was very difficult to switch over in college. And she almost gave up. Now when I met her, she had a doctorate, but she managed somehow. But she told me that all her friends who have gone through English medium right from primary school onwards, they are now making fun of their tradition. They have all become atheists. I mean, there has to be some power behind, some intelligence behind this vast creation, if you want to call it, or manifestation. There has to be some intelligence, agency. So to say it's all by chance, and when I die, like in the West, so many people say when I die it's all finished, it just does not make sense. And the rishis had so many deep insights, and none of their insights which were tested were proven wrong. Like earlier, people would make fun of, do you know, Indians claim that the world is Maya. They would say illusion. Can you believe it? Of course it's not illusion. See, it's here. So, but now, nobody will make fun, because science has also shown, actually, it's just sense perception. There's nothing really there. You cannot catch anything. There's no matter in matter. No? So in this way, the rishis, even the age of the universe, Christians say 6,000 years. It's ridiculous, no? So you have so much knowledge, and you can trust the rishis, because they are top. Well, I think Baba Ramdev is an amazing example of what Indians are capable, and especially Indians who have not been spoiled by English education. I mean, he went only, I think, up to 8th class and then into a Gurukul. And I mean, really, he can teach the professors in Harvard easily. I mean, people criticize his business venture, but I feel he has a point when he says, let the money not go outside to Swadeshi business and let the money be in India. Of course, it makes sense, and I feel also he has revived the interest in yoga again, and even politically he has done a lot of making people aware of Bhashtachar, of corruption. He was traveling the country, and I could notice sometimes that the English in English news channels, they were a little bit almost looking down. And I remember that once somebody said, we may look down on Baba Ramdev, but we should not underestimate his influence. And I thought, who are they to look down on him? I mean, he has so much, he obviously has touched some power in himself, otherwise he couldn't do what he's doing. And yeah, I write in my book also, I had a meeting and I felt bad after meeting him because I talked more than he did. And the reason was, which I felt I had to say, but it makes me also feel bad in a way, because he assumes that other religions are as benevolent as Hindu Dharma is. He always includes all religions. So I tried to tell him, Baba, I grew up as a Christian and I know very well that this benevolence is not there towards Hindus. They may not tell it into your face, but you better be a little bit wary. And this trying to make somebody who is so magnanimous, has such a big heart, to be a little bit more skeptical made me feel bad also. But at the same time, I felt I had to do it. So I was in two minds. I mean, I was feeling a little bad actually about it, but I feel he's doing wonderful work really. I'm grateful to Garuda that Garuda Prakashan published my book, and in fact, when people told me I should write a book, and then some people also suggested, and I was writing already the book, and then some people also suggested I can help you with a publisher, and then I said I have already a publisher. So, but the publisher had not seen yet my book, so I said, I went back and checked, are you really sure that you want to publish my book? Then Sankran Sanu, he was telling me, yes, I am sure because I know your articles. So I was very happy and my experience is very good, and they didn't change my text at all. Not even my English, which I thought might need some changes maybe. And yeah, it's a very good publisher. I'm very happy.